This week's adventure brings us to the Garcade, located in Menominee Falls. $20, unlimited play. And just a description, established 2012. Unlimited play all day, come go access, 150 video games, 25 plus pinball machines, air hockey, jukebox, foosball, and more. Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. No food or drink allowed. Business hours, Mondays are closed. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, 12 to 10. Fridays, 11 to 11. Saturdays, 11 to 11. Sundays, 11 to 8. Today is Saturday, right before 11 o'clock. Just waiting for them to open up. Wristbands required. And right next door is Classic Lanes, a bowling alley, and according to the sign here, along with the no carry and food, pretty much frowned upon in this shopping strip mall area. Deliveries use underground entrance. It looks like you go downstairs here to access the bowling alley. Some stairs right over here. Located right on the other side of the Garcade, United Fitness Center, fitness 24/7, gym 24/7. Looks like they're open 24/7.
There you go.
Thank you. Join me in Wristbands Required, Garcade. We're doing the tour, guys. And just walking in through the front door, you can see how sunny it is today in Wisconsin, Saturday. They do have some candy machines here, gumball machine, and hosting parties on the side over here. Now they just opened. I think I'm the only one in here. Wanted to come in here, get as much of the tour done before I get in people's way, but they do have some pinballs over here. And in my course of stopping here, I've never checked out these pinballs. They have a classic Beatles, Beatlemania, Paul, George, Ringo, and John. Along with some claw machines and a nickname that I do have for my cat, Lucky, Sassy Panda. Hot Wheels pinball. And the private, now look at these old games. We got a Q*bert, a Robotron 2084, Donkey Kong Jr., Defender Joust, Pac-Man, Dig Dug. Looks like Burger Time over there. I think Centipede. So this is roped off, only for parties. And I'm pretty confident that there's duplicates of these machines in the actual arcade. So I've never been back here, and they do have some Q*bert wall art, mural on the wall, marquee, Pac-Man, and that front entrance. And just a reminder of where I got my Wristband Required name, title for this series. Wristbands Required beyond this point. Class of 81. A lot of us are very familiar with this cabinet, the art, along with Rampage. And as you can see, Arcade One Up didn't give us exactly that playing field distance that we're getting on the actual arcade on Rampage. And coming along those roped areas, we have a Mr. Do, Mr. Do's Castle, Mr. Do Universal, Donkey Kong. You know, this is that special title that we're hoping Arcade One Up gives us. Frogger, which, you know, I do cover a lot of Arcade One Up on this channel, and Frogger keeps coming up on sale at Ashley Furniture of all places, Street Fighter 2. And the thing about this cabinet is, does it look familiar, guys? The new Street Fighter 2 Deluxe. I mean, you're basically looking, I mean, that's gonna be the marquee. You're gonna get that like granite style, that angle, how it comes in. Now you do have a granite control panel here on the Arcade One Up, not necessarily on this cabinet, but Marvel vs. Capcom 2 right next to it, Neo Geo. I'm sorry, Marvel vs. Capcom, Neo Geo, then a Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I was looking too far ahead. Tetris, elevator action. I was on Amazon, and this is right across from that first aisle we went down, and the party room was back there. On Amazon, they had those My Arcades, those tinier arcades, and they have an elevator action. It's got the same artwork. And I don't know if it's $20, $30. I'm really debating. It's good for the shelf. Always classic to see that nostalgic look, you know? I mean, just to have these things on a lower scale in our game rooms. Black Widow, pole position 2. At one point they did have a pole position sit down here. You have your gas on the bottom here. But pole position 2 is the only pole position at this arcade. Assault. It's like 2 controllers there. Spy Hunter. How cool would it be? Arcade 1UP did a Spy Hunter arcade. This game is on the Buy Stuff Arcades mod. If you haven't checked that out, for Outrun, Ridge Racer, and Star Wars Defender. So the cabinets we saw right on the other side here for that party room, there will be the repeats. We saw a Defender back there. A classic control panel. R-Type. It's a great eye arcade game. Cuber Cubes. Just love that artwork. Another Neo Geo. And Jungle King. At the end of the aisle, we have plenty of different paths. I'm gonna kind of stay close, hug this wall for a little bit. Check out these fighters. There is a Ms. Pac-Man out of order. It looks like she's not feeling too well. Okay, Asteroids Deluxe. You know, you don't see too many of these. This is just amazing staring at the screen. It's really cool. All your fighters here. You have a Tekken 5, Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat 4. Here's a shout out to you, Zohar, constant fanboy. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat 2, and Marvel Superheroes. All the fighters in this row. And then when we saw the sign when we walked in, the foosballs, the air hockey. This is that area, you can see the wall. Now, behind these doors are a bunch of arcades that are either out of commission or they're trying to sell them. It'd be cool to get a sneak peek. I did see this door open the last time I was here. You never know what could be behind these doors. Double Dragon, the original Double Dragon arcade. Taito, a bags game. And you know, the thing is I bought a Golden Tee XL just for the bowling game, just with that trackball. These are fun games. Time Crisis 2, both the red and the blue. Ace Ventura, is it the red or the white? One of the best shooting games. Area 51, Maximum Force. Who doesn't love Area 51? Zombie Raid. I'm not sure if I recognize this one, but if it was here the last time I was here, it's the style of the gun they're using. Big Buck World. Ghost Squad. House of the Dead. I mean, who doesn't love House of the Dead? Great game. Terminator 2, another great game, and you know, I have this on Arcade 1UP. Guys, this is so much better. It's just, if you haven't played the actual Terminator 2, if you ever see it anywhere, gotta play it. It is unbelievable. And Area 51, Site 4, another classic game, 2 players. Our hero, Raw Thrills, which we can see this on an Arcade 1UP. It's Konami, very interesting seeing Konami on there, but pay attention to those Raw Thrills titles. Punch Out Nintendo, Commando, Galaxia 1943, one of the first renders of Pac-Man, and NBA Jam Tournament Edition. We do have that deluxe coming out soon for Arcade 1UP, riserless with the NBA Jam Tournament Edition look on there. Something to check out. If the price drops, I think it's a little high right now, but who doesn't love a good game at NBA Jam? Simpsons, one of the best 4-player beat-em-ups. Everyone has played Simpsons before. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. It's a great game. Raiden Fighters, Xevious, Asteroids Deluxe, another one. So we saw right around the corner here that first render of the Asteroids Deluxe, and now I guess a more updated with the backdrop here. You can see it's still the same gameplay. Kung Fu Masters, Data East, Joust, so we did see that Joust in that private, and the Centipede in that private party section, so they do have some repeats here. And just for a second, just looking back, I mean, look at all these arcades. We haven't even gone half through this place yet. There's so many arcades here. I mean, could you imagine having access to this? I mean, we were talking about having, like, you know, the person that has 20 arcades in their house, 20 arcade one-ups. I mean, imagine having 200 arcade machines and you could play these anytime. NFL Blitz 2000, NBA Showtime on NBC. I mean, this game, we didn't get this on Arcade one-up. Will we ever see a NBA Showtime? I mean, the reason these free plays exist, these unlimited plays, is to have access to some of these games. I mean, to get this kind of stuff out of your system, it's awesome. And actually, maybe, well, one of the first Pac-Mans, I mean, you have the wood grain. It's kind of like that Pac-Man Plus. It's kind of like, what was that, a Costco special, next to my favorite arcade of all time, X-Men. Now this is the 4-player X-Men. That classic Magneto. I absolutely love this arcade. Pac-Man Battle Royale Championship over here. When the place is crowded, a lot of people are on here playing. I mean, it's right next to, gotta show you this bathroom in a little bit. You're gonna love it. Right next to the restroom. X-Men vs. Street Fighter, right next to the greatest arcade of all time, Space Invaders. I do have this iArcade Space Invaders gold cabinet, and you can add that. You can change the way the game is. You can have the bezel on there if you want. You can change the colors. Paperboy. That handlebar. Now, I just got the Buy Stuff mods for Star Wars, and using the Star Wars flight yoke to play this game, look at this. The actual handlebars. It is so cool.
Disguised as a likable juvenile delinquent, Paperboy journeys through a world of
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade, that classic artwork, and is Shredder wearing glasses? Okay, April O'Neil. Four-player, great game, right around the corner from The Simpsons. Off-road, and everyone's seen off-road. My favorite part about off-road is when you'd always walk up to it and you'd see that gentleman with the, there he is, with the helmet on. Like, this is like, when you think of off-road, this is what I think of. Just seeing him, and it's hard to see the art because, you know, there's a zillion arcades in here, but that is so cool. Another NFL Blitz, you have NFL Blitz 99, we just saw NFL Blitz 2000 around the corner. Road Blasters, this is the one game, if I could have any arcade, a real arcade, it would be Road Blasters or Star Wars. I mean, just walking up to Star Wars, which we'll get to really soon, I think it's just down the aisle. It's really something to take in. Road Blasters. This game is awesome. I was hoping this was on the Buy Stuff mod for that Star Wars flight yoke. Hopefully it will be on the next mod or an updated mod. But this game is so cool. Sinistar. I could just hear that Paperboy music behind me. It kind of threw me off here. Just Zaxxon. This is actually on the Buy Stuff mod. Tron. And just taking in Tron for a second. And remember going to Spencer's, and Spencer's is still there, but remember, you know, late 90s, early 2000s, you'd walk in the back and you'd see the black lights. I mean, this is so cool. I mean, just the best nightlight of all time. Just having that screen in the back. Very special Bally Midway. Very special arcade cabinet, Tron. These stickers always remind me of Pizza Hut. For like 75 cents, $1. You're waiting to pick up your order, your carry-out, or your parents are paying, and you walk up here. There was always some arcades in around the corner too, but just, gosh, you guys, you know, we just don't see this stuff. That's nostalgia. It's Superman, and the Flash, and Batman. And right outside the restroom is Total Carnage. Very similar game to Smash TV and Robotron 2084. Those three titles, having this on an arcade, here's some of the gameplay, having this on an arcade 1-up, I think is very likely. I think we're gonna see this very soon. This would be a great addition for your arcade. Some really retro titles right down the aisle. You have the Donkey Kong, Contra, and it's a valid argument that is the arcade Contra better than the NES Contra. Every one of us are so familiar with the NES Contra. I don't have a lot of nostalgia for the actual arcade, but it is cool to see. That's what, 1988? I mean, just total, you know, muscle looking marquee. Qbert, very hot in demand cabinet. A lot of people want to see a 3/4 scale Qbert. This is such a great look. I mean, you got it right next to Contra. Be one of the first multi-cades. You know, you got Defender, Sinistar, Stargate, Robotron 2084, Joust, Bubbles, Splat. Why can't we get a Midway Legacy like this? Super Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man, that classic blue, pink, and yellow. Dig Dug, Nintendo Play Choice 10, next to a very popular flight game, Afterburner. Something to take in. You know, there's even those sit-down Afterburners like you saw in Terminator 2 when John Connor was at that arcade. This is so cool to see an Afterburner. Burger Time, Galaga, not Star Wars. This would be the other actual arcade that I would want, other than Road Blasters. The 3D bezel, the artwork alone on here. I mean, just having this. And I have the 2023 Star Wars release with this artwork. And Arcade 1-Up nailed it. They nailed, well, actually I have the Joe Sabos marquee. And it's identical to what we're seeing here. The flight yoke. Now this is commercial grade. But the Arcade 1-Up flight yoke, say what you want, it's stellar. And you know what? It plays the add-ons that I did on the Buy Stuff store so well. To use this as a racer, you know, I was playing Paperboy on here, Spy Hunter. If I could play Road Blaster, so unbelievable. But to have this actual Star Wars cab, it's one of the best arcades out there. The first Mario Brothers. And at the time when I first played this, I didn't understand it because, you know, I was a kid. You're used to the Nintendo, and to play this game, it's like, this isn't Super Mario Brothers. No, it's Mario Brothers. This was it. You know, we saw him on Donkey Kong. That's Donkey Kong Jr. But Donkey Kong, like, that's where Mario started. Like, as a kid, you just know him from Nintendo. Tempest and Donkey Kong Jr. I mean, there's Mario again. And it's just funny that, I mean, that was, you know, Donkey Kong and Mario. That was Nintendo. Like, that was their arcades. And they're holding on to these arcades. There's nobody bringing these out yet. You know, we're all just kind of like waiting, you know, when will we see this? And this Cosmotrons, I don't have much knowledge on this, but it's just something to take in. I mean, look at the size of this. Got 4 stools here. Stainless steel counter here. This game, it's huge. All the pinballs are over here. Around the corner from that Blitz, we have another Gauntlet, the Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Super Mario Brothers. This was the Mario Brothers I was just talking about, that I was familiar with as a kid, that came with that original Nintendo Entertainment System. There it is. Karate Champ, Data East, Primal Rage, Gorf Midway, Track and Field, all buttons, no controllers. Robotron 2084. I mean, who does not want to see a Robotron 2084 home arcade platform that you can put Smash TV on? And that will have, like we said, total carnage. Love this game. I mean, out of the three, this is the most nostalgia I have, is Smash TV. It was on Nintendo, it was on Sega Genesis. You know, I've played it at the arcades. Robotron, I mean, it's classic. Like, if we had our choice of skin, I want Smash TV. It's like the Arnold Schwarzenegger Running Man. You know, I mean, that's what this reminds me of. That's what I want. This guy, it just reminds me of the movie. Back wall is all their racers. They have the Fast and Furious, and with all the racers, they always have two hooked up to each other. So you have Super Bikes, Raw Thrills, Fast and Furious, Raw Thrills, Hydro Thunder. Looks like the marquee's out. I mean, look at the size of this thing. I mean, just how it just overpowers. Look how much higher it is. You know, Fast and Furious is something to take in. You can see Vin Diesel, Paul Walker on the side right there. Look at the size of that. Cruising USA, another huge marquee. San Francisco Rush 2049 Special Edition, and San Francisco Rush The Rock Alcatraz Edition. And all the pinballs, other than where we saw when we first walked in. I think some of them might take quarters. I don't play a lot of the pinballs when I come here. Look at the Star Trek. Now we do have a new Star Trek pinball coming. Look at Riker, Picard. Monster Mash. Who hasn't ever seen one of these? A couple of pins over here, and then all your Sterns. The Ninja Turtles, Avengers, Lethal Weapon 3, Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Joe Pesci, Black Knight, Terminator 2, here he is on the top, Jurassic Park, Earthshaker, The Mandalorian, Stranger Things. Look at Jason Kidd and Anthony Hardaway. You know, at one point, they were both on the same team. Clyde Drexler, Dennis Rodman, Detloff Shrimp, Nick Van Exel, Jerry Sacco. Sorry guys, I mean, you don't see those 90s. Man, that's just so cool to see. Metallica, Guardians of the Galaxy, Iron Maiden, Star Wars Rush, and the Monsters. I mean, this is what an arcade's all about. If you've heard of a free play or an unlimited play where here it was $20 to get in and we can do whatever we want. There might be a couple of pinballs over in that area that you do have to put quarters in, but I'm not really sure. I can't answer that. Dare I say, this is the best arcade in the state of Wisconsin. I mean, the amount of cabinets here, games, and people in a short while coming through that door right behind me, it'll be packed. It is Saturday. It's about 11:30. Just looking up at a clock right behind me up there. Nice day out. There is a state fair going on, and summer. I mean, you know, there's so much to do outside. But I mean, I've been here where it's so packed, it's so loud that you couldn't even hear me talking right now. So many arcades here. It is awesome. I always love coming to the Garcade. Everything's so neat and organized with all your fighters in one spot. All your shooters, and there's a couple of shooters they don't have, but for the most part, you have a great variety to choose from. Time Crisis 2, for an example. It's hard to find a Time Crisis 1. It seems like there's more Time Crisis 2 titles, arcades out there in the wild that you can go up and play. Time Crisis 1 being a one-player, maybe that owners of an arcade say, you know what, I want to get the ones with the two-player because it's just the one-player game. You do have the pedals on the floor. One of the games that is my favorite shooting games besides Terminator 2, Time Crisis, and even Area 51. I love Area 51, and it's hard to say that this isn't my favorite shooter, but Lethal Enforcers, I wish that Lethal Enforcers was here. If you can recall that cabinet, that side art was just so 90s. You'd have the two officers. It's just so cool. Double Dragon. We didn't see a Double Dragon 2, but the original Double Dragon game. And where else are you gonna find some of these titles? I mean, like I said before, the only other arcade that's better, that's the closest to the greater Milwaukee area in Wisconsin. Get Moon Patrol over here. No, I might have missed this aisle actually. So you have Asteroids, is Galloping Ghosts. And I want to say Galloping Ghost has, what, 300 arcades? Something we'll check out. But I wanted to come here first, and by coming here, the Battle Zone. You know, we'll see other arcades. And the thing is it's going to be hard to top a place like this. It's going to be hard to top Galloping Ghost. But it doesn't mean we're not going to go to any other places. It's just that when I say this is the best in the state, Mortal Kombat, it's the best in the state. Like, you can't top these retro, nostalgic games. I mean, look at this. This is awesome. You have your two controls right here. Battle Zone. So high-tech looking. Moon Patrol. Actually have this on the iArcade. It's really fun. Bought it before they went out of business. They had all the discounted games, and after I purchased it, I go, why didn't I buy this earlier? This is a fun game. Some kind of different mix you can have on your multicade. Popeye. And look at the artwork on Popeye. You know, we've all seen Popeye growing up, you know, in our childhoods watching the cartoons. It's a great game. It's an awesome looking arcade. You know, Nintendo just had that unique style about it. You know, Donkey Kong Jr., Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers. Could you imagine actually having Time Crisis 2 at home? Let's say you had a big enough area. You still need, I mean, this is over 7 feet tall. We're pushing 8 feet tall here at the top of that cabinet, like the size of Time Crisis 2. It's just something to take in. I mean, this is an awesome arcade. Even bags, I mean, you just look at the size of these, and this is an argument that you have, you know, if you're into the home arcades, if you're into Arcade 1-Up, or Ad Games, iArcade, MVSXs, you know, those are toys. These are all toys. I mean, how can they not be? They're just commercial grade actual arcades, and the thing is look at the size of these. I mean, just the width from left to right on this 4-player panel, I want to say it's, just staring at it offhand, I'm going to say it's 40 inches. And Arcade 1-Up is 32. And it's going to be a lot tighter. But can you give up 40 inches of space in a confined area? I mean, everything is so much bigger. As cool as it would have, you know, to have actual arcade machines. I mean, just look at how high Guitar Hero is. They're huge, guys. And you know, places like this is where you go. You know, you don't have to buy real arcades. You buy things that are more affordable in your price range. And if you want to play real arcades, you come to a place like this. Look at that Tato artwork on the side. I always say Tato. It's Tato. Just in the vicinity of where this arcade is compared to where I live. About 20 minutes away, 25 minutes. So I usually come here every, say, once a month. Come here, check it out, play some games. Look at that Mario. This cabinet, you know, just looking at Popeye. Nintendo with that style. Like, it's just so unique. Whether you're a huge fan, like if this isn't your style, and I get it if it's not, but it's the look. And this is a lot of reasons why we put arcades at home. We want that look of a real arcade. We try to mimic this. Bring this home. This style. Yeah, you'd play it, but it's so cool just to sit back and say, I got Donkey Kong at home. I got Donkey Kong Jr. at home. I mean, just to have these. Let's say you had this and Donkey Kong and Popeye right next to each other, all 3 of them. And then you throw in the Mario Brothers. I almost said Super Mario Brothers. You throw in the Mario Brothers. I mean, that's Nintendo. That's as big as it gets. I think for me, I have more nostalgia for 90s titles. And I was just thinking of a 90s title, Narc. Now I didn't see Narc here, but like I said before, you know, Lethal Enforcers, Narc, there's not too many titles that aren't here. It's a great lineup of games. I mean, there's doubles. We saw 2 Cuberts, 2 Donkey Kongs, Defenders. I've seen a bunch of Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man, and I mean, I just gotta be honest, in the home arcade aspect, like that's why we see Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man so many times. I mean, just look at all the Capcom and Midway, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter 2 we saw here. People know that, and that's why the Wreck-N' Ralph. That's why Nintendo style. That's why people buy those. They see them here. That's why retailers are going, they're siding with, well, we're going to do another Pac-Man, another Ms. Pac-Man. People are used to seeing those. Just like when they go to places like Dave & Buster's and you see those bigger games, or at resorts, people are used to seeing them. They don't necessarily know Paperboy. We know Paperboy because we had it on Nintendo. You know, we spent our childhood at arcades. But not everyone has nostalgia. I mean, there's a little boy over here playing these games like they love this, like just like we did. And that's the thing, and that's what retailers have to understand, that we want these arcades. Like even if there's no like nostalgia for that age group, you put anyone in front of these, they're gonna play them. And that's why places like this will survive. And I gotta tell you, it looks great. It's clean. I always enjoy coming to the Garcade, and you know what, they allow me to do videos here. Really appreciate it. I do pay the admission. There's nothing I'm doing that's, you know, hey Phil, come on in here. We want you to promote. Pay my admission to come in here. I will play some games today, but I wanted to get this tour done first before it filled up. Come to a unique venue like a free play unlimited arcade where you can play these games for the first time or relive something from your childhood. And that's what's special about these. And that's why we put arcades in at home, to bring something back. Because when they announce cabinets, when we can actually bring a Robotron home or a Smash TV, will that keep you from coming to a Garcade? No, because I have X-Men and I still come here. I'll still play this game when I come here, because how could you not? This game, I have such fond memories, especially the 4-player. The 6-player is great, but I never played the 6-player a lot. It was always the 4-player, of all places, at a bowling alley. For those familiar with the MVSX, if they came out with the second one, another home arcade, Ninja Combat. This is another title similar to POW, Prisoners of War. It'd be awesome to have on a home arcade platform. Another option. You want to see these companies thrive. You want to see more home arcades. Other than Arcade went up at games, iArcade before. Who's going to step up? Will we see more stuff from MVSX, Neo Geo, SNK? Will there be another company who gives us an NBA on NBC, Showtime cabinet, in Area 51, House of the Dead? It's going to be interesting, but you know, we can sit there and wait and hope to bring some of these games home on a dedicated cabinet or a multi-cade. You can always come to a free play. You can always check out these games because they're out there. Every state has one. And luckily, the Garcade in Wisconsin. Someday we'll get Spy Hunter. It's a great cabinet. We'll get that Road Blasters. That's gonna do it for today. Street Fighter 2. Thanks for watching this week's Wristbands Required at the Garcade. Dare I say, Wisconsin's best arcade. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.